Michelle and welcome you to the Camden Wilbraham Regional School District School Committee meeting. It's 6 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock p.m. I see that David Sanders from Wilbraham Public Access is recording this meeting. Is there anyone else here recording? Okay. We will do roll call in alphabetical order. Bill Bontempi. Cheryl Carolina. Here. Sean Kennedy.
Here.
Lisa Murray. Here. Rich Redeker.
Here.
Mike Terabasi.
Here.
Michelle Buja. Aye, here. If you would please stand. Lisa, and lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do not have student representatives for this evening, so we will begin with the superintendent's update.
Thank you. Just to give a quick update on the strategic plan. As part of the equity improvement plan, we are working on updates and revisions to the bullying prevention and intervention policy and plan. That is normally done on a 2-year basis, but given, and it was just done last year, but given some of the issues we've been experiencing this year, we're working on a new revision, which we plan to bring forward at some point during the summer. Next, I would like to congratulate Anthony Zremba for receiving the Community Partnership Award from Western New England University. You can see a copy of that award in your packet. Tony does a great job with the transition program, and I think it is often, he's often an unsung hero in our district because the work of his program is often sort of hidden away being at TWB. And so I just want to lift that up and elevate what he's doing. It's really a quality program, and this is a well-deserved recognition for him. And then I will yield the majority of my time to Emily Estevez and Layla Hasnander, who are members of the Hamden District Attorney's Youth Advisory Board. Last Friday, I had the privilege of seeing Emily and Layla present their work on the impacts of social media to a packed house at the Basketball Hall of Fame. It was really great. There were people from all different organizations, youth-serving organizations all over Western Mass, and they stood on this podium and presented to probably 300 people, like pros. So I asked them if they could come here tonight and share their work with you. They have an edited for time presentation to share because we are moving pretty quickly tonight. But you will note in your packet you have a QR code that has the full version of their project as well as all of the projects that were presented at that meeting. And it strikes me that if you want to know what the concerns of youth in our area are, all you need to do is take a look at this agenda. These are all topics that were chosen by the students because they thought there were things that were important and impacting youth at this time. And so the list is healthy relationships, mental health, social media, academic engagement, and food insecurity. These are the things that our young people really want to make an impact on. And we have 2 students who are, I believe, already making an impact. So I will turn it over to them without further ado.
Hi, I'm Emily Estevez. I'm a senior here at Minnesota.
And I'm Layla Hostander, and I'm a sophomore here at Minnesota.
So me and Layla, we have both been on the board for 2 years now. This will be my last year. Layla will continue. We are both leaders, so we both led our social media group. We discussed the dangers of social media and precautions to take on all platforms.
So on the District Attorney's Youth Advisory Board, we were given the privilege to edit an internet playbook that was created by a group of students in 2018. This internet playbook had precautions for parents to take when using social media apps and how to portray that information to their children. So we were able to edit that book this year and add, I think, 5 or 6 new apps that we think that parents should be aware of. And then there is a list on the back that has, it's called the Dirty Dozen list, kind of shares some dangers about those apps that we think parents should know about.
Mm-hmm. And then the subtopics that we talked about in our slideshow, which that's just a cover slide that we presented on Friday, we discussed statistics of social media, the large growth that it has had in the past few years, cyberbullying, mental health effects, screen time, along with the addiction to screen time itself, and also time management, navigating social media apps in general, your digital footprint and how to be aware of that, and also the playbook.
So as a group, we had the platform created for us by the District Attorney, Anthony Galoni, to create a presentation and then share it at this, like we did on Friday, the Basketball Hall of Fame, to superintendents, sheriffs, police officers from across the county. So this year, as a group, we decided to create a video that, with everyone from our committee asking them questions about social media. So here we're going to play a small clip of that.
My average screen time is probably around 5 hours a day. Like 8 hours?
I think it's around 5.5 hours, 6 hours, I think, usually. I'm turned on, but probably like per day or 3 days or like probably 3 or 4 hours.
It's also 3 hours. Plus 6.5 hours a day. My average screen time is like 7-8 hours up there for sure.
I feel a couple of days without social media to be tough, but probably a couple of days. A few days if I did try.
I could probably go like a couple days, 3 days before being like, oh man, I really want to go back on social media. Probably a good couple weeks.
I think if I really wanted to, I could go weeks without it, but being realistic, probably a couple days. Realistically, probably just a few days.
Probably not. I just feel like I'd probably feel left out and not really part of things. Yeah, if I wanted to.
Yes, as any other vacation. If I really wanted to, yeah.
Sometimes if I'm trying to do my homework and I like start scrolling, I can get lost in time.
Oh yeah, I'll pull up my phone when I'm doing my homework and it'll make my homework like way longer and make that 30 minutes time take 2 hours because I just keep pulling out my phone to questions.
Yes, I would say that social media is harmful in a way that it's distracted and unhelpful. I find that like when I'm doing my homework and my phone just goes off, I just have like that instinct to pick it up, so I think it distracts me while I'm trying to focus.
I think at times it definitely can. When I see like a funny video or texting friends or something, and then make them feel better. But it can also make it worse at the same time, depending on what I'm seeing and what's going on.
Yes and no, because there's definitely some negative effects to get like the comment or something like that, but I'd say probably mostly it's a happy experience online.
I don't feel that you're using social media. I think it's only a temporary entertainment. Do you tend to get on sad? I use it a lot for entertainment, so I'll be happy in some senses, sadder if it's something posted that makes me feel left out or just I'm not happy post.
Probably the better it is to have more time when you start following.
I feel like I'd feel more distant from people, especially people that don't, live near me. I feel like I'd be a little bit more cut off from the world, honestly, and I just would get a lot of phone out.
I feel my life would be better in a way that I would make my own decisions rather than think about what other people are doing on social media or how my life should look like or deem as acceptable. I think that social media is a good thing when you're trying to get the word out about something, like so you have a club and you're doing a fundraiser, I think it's great for that, but I think
that without social media, I'd be happier and not be comparing myself to other else's standards.
Probably not for most people, unless they can like stop and get out, you know.
I don't know, I think a lot of my friends go on it way more than they should. Even I go on it probably way more than I should. I think it's pretty time consuming and it's hard to get things done you get done with access to it.
If you know how to like use it properly and like limit yourself, then it can be healthy.
It can be if it's used properly.
I like it because I can contact more people, I can stay in touch with more people, and it just, when you're sitting down, you just have nothing to do, and you just want to relax for a little bit, just give you something just sit down and just do nothing for a little bit if you think that's what you need.
Because it's a place where you can just like not care and kind of just like escape for a little bit.
Like you can just like talk to like not be with, but like connect with people that you might not be with like over break or something like that.
I like social media because it's a way to express yourself, like any other hobby or interest. Like I think that over time social media has become less of a safe place and more popular, making it more inviting to bad topics or unhelpful ideas.
I have a lot of friends that live in different states, so my best friend lives in California, and I'm able to communicate with her through social media.
I'm not really as worried about what I say on social media compared to what I say in person.
I kind of sometimes found myself being exactly how a lot of people are. Me talking a video game on screen, kind of in real life, and not in any negative way. It's just I just feel like it's a lot easier to talk to people on social media.
People on social media are very open, they're very confident to talk themselves and talk to other people. I've seen it, but I think that talking to people in reality is feels much more fulfilling to me because online it can be so fake and it can be over time it can be strange. It can be strange not to socialize with people how we're normally used to socializing.
I'm a very social person in general, so I don't mind over that much, but I think that some people are very different kinds of person they are. So.
I think usually I'm a pretty timid person, but on social media I feel like I can be a little more outspoken. Probably made it worse for some part.
It's definitely used to bring my self-esteem down a lot more as though when I see like, I don't know, just people like more like body positive, like because social media has gotten a lot more body positive, but at the same time still they're idolizing like a certain like body type or frame or how you're supposed to look, and I always used to get a lot of that.
Social media has only it's made me think about ways that I should be acting, should be living my life, and I feel like nobody should be feeling like that. I feel like people should live their lives and express it in a way that's not lying or only showing one angle of it, because there are so many angles to our lifestyles. It's so complex.
we have kids from Chicopee, kids from Longmeadow, kids from Fort Francis, people from here, all different ages, 14 to 18, all different backgrounds. And what basically we want people and adults, students, and everyone in between to take away from that video is that social media does affect us, kids, in negative ways. And we think that everyone should be aware of that and also be aware of the dangers that come along with that. And then something else that we didn't share yet that I want to share was that Emily crafted a really nice survey that we were able to send out to about 600 students that helped us craft our slideshow that we weren't able to present today due to time. But I just wanted to throw that in there because I thought that was something that we should be proud of. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much, Lucas.
Any questions?
Great job.
Thank you very much for being here and sharing this with us.
Really great. Can I just share two takeaways I had from that? Is that if I understand the data correctly, most of the kids in the age range that you were talking to are spending more time on social media than they are in classes. That's one thing, right? So that was just like, you know. And then the other is that almost everyone said that at times social media made them feel badly about themselves, but also said they couldn't stop doing it. So that's kind of heartbreaking for me.
Do you think, I'm sorry.
It truly is, as we said in the video, truly is an addiction that a lot of it stuff from. I know, even myself, I'm 100% addicted to social media, just like many teens out there today.
Do you think the number of time that they said, how much time that they said they spend each day, do you think that number is an overestimation or an underestimation, or do you think it's spot on?
We do have like screen time. It tells you how much time on your phone you spend on each app as well. So, I mean, part of our presentation was even to set like time limits or just other like ways to help.
Some people talked about at the conference how they didn't have their screen time turned on. I know I have mine turned on, so every week, at the end of the week, I look at mine, and I know that mine's definitely about 6 hours a day. But I think if there's kids that don't have their screen time turned on, I think they're definitely underestimating the time they spend on social media.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
See you next door.
It's now time for public comment. Is there anyone here this evening that is interested in making public comment?
Am I the only one?
Yeah, so if you just, if you press the green button, if you would just please state your name and your affiliation with the district.
Okay. My name is Stephen Maddox. I'm a father of 2 kids at Mile Tree Elementary. Sorry if that's loud. One's in pre-K, one's in first grade. It's been great. We love the school district. That's why we moved to Wilbraham. Been here about 8 years. But I moved because my son a few months ago, didn't really want to go to school. And he was like, I don't want to go. And in the mornings he would cry and, just not want to go. I'd be fighting him. And I'd, say, why don't you want to go? He's like, it's boring. I don't like it. I'm like, I get it. I remember those days. Like, it's boring. And I said, well, why is it boring? He said, well, we have to sit there and sit down for a long time and write things down. And it's called knowledge. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's, writing a story down. It's hard to sit still for a while. Especially for boys. And I said, well, how much recess time do you get? And he said, 20 minutes. And I said, 20 minutes? It seems kind of short for a 6.5-hour day. So I spoke to Ms. Pettit, the principal, and she was very helpful and kind of told me about the state mandates where you have to spend 55 minutes or an hour within the 3 core subjects, but then that leaves quite a bit of time for the other electives, if you will, science, art, lunch to be divided up. I know the teachers, they do a great job of incorporating activities and moving in the classroom, but it still seems quite a bit unbalanced for me. I'm a scientist by trade, but it doesn't really take a scientist to do a Google search and kind of figure out what the science tells us about the importance of recess. And I think this ties in actually really well with what you guys said this afternoon. We're faced in an age with sky-high rates of anxiety, depression, ADHD, social media, screen time. And, you know, I think we're not really doing our kids a favor by setting them up for a balanced life. I know for me, I said it best most of the day. You know, if I don't move for an hour, I lose focus. It's really hard to utilize that time. To where one of the students said, you know, it would be best just to get the work done and move on to something else you want to do. So I think the trend has been happening across the U.S. for this. You know, since the 60s, I know recess time has decreased. Certain states have mandated a minimum of 20 minutes a day. I think there's a bill, H235 in Massachusetts that hasn't been approved yet, but it recommends a minimum of 20 minutes a day. I certainly think it should be more than that, although that's not up to me. I'll read a couple of quick things and I'll be off here. But the CDC cites recess time for elementary school students. It improves their memory, attention, and concentration. It helps them stay on task in the classroom. It reduces disruptive behavior in the classroom, and it improves their social and emotional development. And I think the key is disruptive behavior. I saw one study. You guys can Google it again. There's a lot out there that's publicly available, but it cut in half the disruptive behavior time and doubled the time on task. And I'll jump back to this conversation with my son, because he started asking, in that knowledge subject, he started getting in trouble more and having to do breaks, which, you know, a teacher makes him sit still for a while, and that's fine. But he said, Dad, am I a bad kid? And I look over at the sign and it says, you are what you believe yourself to be. And he started believing he was bad because he was kind of pinned up in a cage, metaphorically speaking. And I remember going through that as a kid too. So I guess my point here is I think we should kind of rethink and rematch what our structure is to what the science says. And I think we're off of that quite a bit. Thank you for your time.
I do remember, Bill, was it 2 or 3 years ago, there was a study that we did talk about how more recess time had a positive effect on education, but we never did anything about that. Maybe that's something we should add to an agenda to really deep dive into that.
I mean, you've got a lot of forces at play on this. I mean, if you want to add it for an agenda item for discussion, we can. Oh, sorry. There's a lot of forces at play. If you want to add it as an agenda item, you can. You can have a very lively discussion about, you know, the mandates that the state puts on how much time you spend on core subjects and how much time you spend on other subject matter. And then you counter that with the amount of money that you have negotiated with teachers for actual time in the classroom. And there's your difference right there. I mean, you have the state telling you you have to spend more time doing this, and you have a contract that says you can only spend this much time doing it. That's where your recess time goes. So as we set up negotiations, we realize that teachers are only required to be in the classroom for 6 hours and 35 minutes, and so much of that time goes to core subjects, so much of the time goes to art, so much time goes to gym, so much time goes to recess, to lunch, and then whatever's left over is what those kids have for recess. I totally agree with you, but you know, when you look at it, it's such a global issue. Like it's not something that you can necessarily even approach on the local level, because we're talking about forces that exist federally and both federally and at the state level in regards to how much time is mandated for kids to be in the classroom. It's a hard. I think it's a very hard subject to kind of wrap your head around, but I would welcome a discussion about it. Sure.
So we will discuss that a little bit. Thank you for your comment. We'll move on to subcommittee updates, please.
Thank you.
Curriculum subcommittee, Lisa.
We have, Lisa, is it May 30th scheduled for a curriculum subcommittee meeting? Thank you.
Planning committee, we do not have an update at this time. There will be an agenda item on our next agenda for our discussion. Finance and operations subcommittee, Sean?
I mean, we really don't have an update. At that last meeting, we talked about the town of Wilbraham's, about the town of Wilbraham not fully funding the budget and not using our number on the resolution but they put the number from the appointed finance department, which is unfortunate, and what we're going to have to do to work around that, which we talked about at the last meeting. And I guess the good news here is that we did get correspondence from one of the board of selectmen that said that they will bring it up at the May 28th meeting to see if they will allow our attorneys to talk to their attorneys to come up with the appropriate language and, whatever we need to say and how we need to do it at the town meeting so that we can propose for our number to be substituted for the finance and operation department's numbers. This is, the people in the finance department in Wilbraham are appointed to, I believe, we just learned 3-year terms. And they are doing really great work for the most part, but it seems that there might be a little overreach or overstepping, whatever you want to call it. And we want to refocus the town meeting to be on the number that we presented, not the number they presented.
I have a thought on this. Sean, I know we're working on trying to have our attorneys communicate, but have you had a direct communication with Nick Burrell? It might be worthwhile, John, if you emailed Nick Burrell, with a simple question that, if someone were to make an amendment to increase by this amount of money, to the warrant, what could you give us a list of 3 to 5 legally acceptable, procedure appropriate funding sources that could be chosen from? And you could even add the courtesy there that if town administration had one that would be their preference for someone to use, we would welcome that. They may choose, I don't know if they'll choose to not respond. I'm not sure if it would be appropriate for them to not respond to that specific question because they're the town administrator and that's policy and they should be able to give you that information appropriately.
So are you asking John to contact the town administrator to ask him for legal advice?
Not legal advice, no. Just asking for a list of what would be procedure appropriate. We're concerned that, right, is it not the concern of the committee from our discussions, to put it succinctly, that Sean's going to stand up and make an amendment at the town meeting, and he's not going to be able to word the amendment in any way that's considered procedurally appropriate for the town meeting, and thus the amendment won't even be able to be voted on. That's been my concern, because it's supposed to name, it seems like you'll have to name the funding source, and if you can't come up with something appropriate. But correct me if I'm wrong, maybe we know what we're going to say and we're not worried about that. Do you, Sean?
I don't think we know what we want to say. I think we're trying to figure out the best way to get that information. When we brought this up before with Nick said no to the attorneys. He did not offer any advice on his part. I'll go to town hall probably on Thursday or Friday and see if he's around and see if he'll sit and work with me on crafting up as a town citizen. I don't know if he is of service to the town citizen or if he's only of service to the Board of Selectmen. So I'm not sure what his parameters are on that.
What's the date of the town meeting?
June 3rd.
June 3rd. So the select board has offered their services to come in 5 days before, actually like 2 working days before, because that's Memorial Day weekend, is it not?
Yes, so actually, before you actually say what you're going to say, so we've also had a request that through the Board of Select, that we, if it would be possible for a meeting with the sole and express purpose of a meeting jointly with the school committee, finance committee, and Board of Select in open session to discuss the budget difference between the finance committee and school committee with an attempt to bring in a unified proposal to the floor at town meeting. So that is just something that we would have to discuss to see if we're interested in entertaining. The dates for that would be, that were proposed. I believe it was the 21st. There were 3 dates. I think ideally, I'm sorry, the 21st, 22nd, and the 29th of May.
If we're going to do it, I would suggest that the 21st would probably be the best, so that, you know, like we would meet before the budget hearing.
It would be at 5 o'clock prior to the budget hearing, so it would be between 5 and 5:45.
Would be of potentially some benefit to anyone that, from town, who's concerned about what might be going on, and they might have, you know, might diffuse any situation that might unravel the budget hearing. I'm not sure if one will, or if there's any worries, but,
So that is something that was proposed, so we're here to discuss to see if people, the committee, are anything amenable to that, and then we can decide that we'll meet, and then we can reach out to the town and let them know that we're agreeable to that.
to sit down and talk with each other
The 3 boards.
with no promise that we'll move on the budget.
I mean, the hope is on their part that we're not agreeing to anything before that meeting, so it certainly would be the 3 boards having a discussion.
I mean, I think it's important that if they offered that we meet, I think we should go meet. I don't think there's a question. I think the issue is what date. I would say the 29th works better for my schedule, but I can make all dates.
29th is the retirees celebration 5 to 6.
I tend to agree with Mike too, that earlier the better. I don't want to get caught in a situation where we're meeting last minute and, you know, if we meet on the 29th, on the calendar in front of me. That is, the 29th is a Wednesday, that leaves, and then is, what Memorial Day is the previous weekend, 27th is Memorial Day? Okay, so that would basically leave 2 business days before that meeting to actually affect any changes before the town meeting, so I don't like that. I would say the earliest date that we could do it, the 21st, I would definitely be in favor of that.
So are people available the May 21st at 5 o'clock, so the meeting would be 5 to 5:45, and it would be at the senior center, and then the budget hearing is following, so that would be at 6 o'clock for anyone that's interested in staying. Does that work for everybody?
Carlton.
Okay.
Like I said,
Yes.
like I said, I can make them all happen, but yeah, I do have a Falcons baseball game. I've missed too many of those, so.
Mike, you're good. Lisa? Okay.
Good.
Rich?
to try to be there.
Okay. Okay. So
Where's
we will-
this is
the Wilbraham Senior Center. 5 o'clock. Start time with a hard stop at 5:45.
If memory serves me right, I think maybe in the very beginning of the 20s.
Bring the microphone to your face.
If memory serves me right, we did postpone a vote on the budget. This was very long ago, but I think it was when Paul Vincitucci was superintendent. So I don't see anything wrong with doing this, but I also don't see it, if the door closes, that it has to be a closed door.
Yeah, I think the tenet should be that, I mean, what we have postulated right along is that we have been willing to put in the effort and work with the finance committee. We've been willing to open any door with regards to avenues of communication. So I think that, to Sean's point, this is extremely important. Like, there's an offer on the table to bring the 3 boards together, to have a roundtable meeting, to decide how we're going to do this. I think it's imperative that we participate. You know, it would certainly go a long ways to make the voters feel better if we were putting in every effort before we got to town meeting, before we have, just an explosion on the floor. I don't think that's, I don't think that's too much, I don't think we can avoid it.
Do we think we want to invite Hampton as well?
No,
They are an interested party in this whole process.
they've already had their vote, they've approved the budget. I don't think that they're interested in getting involved in our politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although they might be entertaining.
I'm sure they can find other reasons for their time.
But only
Okay, excellent. All right, anything else on the budget items? Okay, moving on. The Lower Pioneer Valley Collaborative representative, Lisa?
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. And there's nothing for negotiations. Policy Subcommittee?
Yes, all right, this is a second reading for the following policies. GBEE, personal use of technology. JIJC, student use of technology in schools. KDC, community use of digital resources. We had another meeting scheduled, which had to be canceled, so we actually need to schedule the next meeting of the policy subcommittee. Since everybody's here, is it okay if we discuss our next date? I'm assuming no one would want to meet on Memorial Day. I know I would not. How does Tuesday the 28th look to people? Or I'm talking about May. Wednesday, we got an event Wednesday night for the high school. I'm on call Thursday. What do you guys think about Tuesday the 28th, Cheryl?
28th, we can do 28th, we can just do a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being
Like 5.
whatever time. I don't really have.
Can we do 5:30? That's fine.
5:30.
John, is that okay for you?
It's fine for me. This is the one we wanted to have Bill Powers at too, so we just have to check in with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Michelle, have that placeholder for planning.
Scratch that. Scratch that, yeah.
Alrighty, Tuesday, May 28th at 5:30.
How many nights this time of year when there's not anything going on in the high school?
Just, what do we have left for policies? What do we, how much volume, is it enough for one meeting or?
So, I don't know why I was just about to speak into my phone. There is a big section coming up, I think it's section J. There are approximately 25 policies in that section, so I would say it's more than a meeting.
Okay, all right, so we should really try to hammer out as much as we can during that meeting.
Yep.
So we can include all of that, and then if you can get that to us ahead of time, as far ahead of time as possible, so we can review them and just make sure, because I remember it was 2 meetings ago, where we had cross-reference policies, but we didn't have them on hand. So we can look at those ahead of time, we can hopefully anticipate if there's any other, any of the cross-reference policies that we need to refer to.
Sure.
It's only a week away, so, he's asking for thorough, but if you get through half thoroughly, that's better than all of them. Just
Okay.
time to, this is a difficult time of year, so.
Okay, thank you. Technology Subcommittee? No?
Well,
Okay. Just a reminder, Superintendent Evaluation Committee, so please, if you could complete your evaluations by Friday, May 31st, so for all of the school committee members, if you could submit those to Aaron. And then we will be meeting as a committee, the Superintendent Evaluation Committee, on Tuesday, June 11th at 6:30 in the district conference room to compile that and create the summary. Okay, so moving on to the consent agenda.
make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Future agenda items, so if we could schedule, so we have some meetings on the calendar that we have scheduled, so we're just gonna have a discussion. So I think, our next meeting on May 30th, which is Thursday, May 30th, There was a question about that, but just, we want to go through the rest of the year's calendar.
It just wasn't a regularly scheduled meeting, and 6 months ago, a friend of mine, Mick Jagger, called me up and invited me to a concert, and I saw the Rolling Stones went up, so I bought some tickets to take my son to his first concert with my wife, and I would rather not miss that. I haven't missed a meeting in 8 years, so I guess I could call in, but I don't know if we're going to hear anybody or anyone's going to hear me. So I didn't know if there was a different alternate date that we could use.
Also, since it wasn't the previously scheduled meeting day, I am on call that night. So if I'm able to physically be here, because I'm not stuck at the hospital, I will have to get up and walk in and out of the room because of patient privacy. I can't even deal with patient texts because they would text the people here. So I would likely not be here or disrupt moving in and out of the room if I was.
So I guess my ask is, are you asking for us to reschedule the meeting?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so we're going into
like
June, so I think we're just gonna cancel the meetings. I don't think based on the dates and all the events that are happening over the next couple of weeks, unless you want to meet earlier in the week, once your schedule allows.
Why is this meeting on the 30th?
Because the 6th is the day before graduation of Unitas, and we're moving the June 6th meeting that we normally have to the 30th.
So it's the day before graduation, and you don't want to have it the day before graduation? Because you guys are busy getting ready for graduation.
Yeah. So,
Just meet that week.
what do we have?
Any other night between the 27th and the 30th, or?
So we do have a meeting on the 13th, it looks like. At least that's in my calendar.
I don't have it in my
I'm
calendar.
not on call.
We had talked about it, Mike, but we never really settled on a date. That was one of the dates that we had thrown out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you need to have the meeting on the 30th, then have the meeting on the 30th. It's just you only need 5 and you'll be missing 2, so you'll be okay. So
What do we have? What do we have?
What, agenda items?
Yeah.
We're not doing
What's
the
so,
plan.
I guess the question is, we have the urgency because we will hopefully have met with the finance and hopefully that'll be ironed out. And hoping that roundtable will kind of bring that to a conclusion.
That's June 3rd, correct?
No, that's the 21st when we're talking about the meeting, the roundtable.
Yeah, I meant, but the town meeting is
The town meeting is June 3rd. So I would say,
What's I saying, because we can just. not
I would say
have-
leave it where it is, just because it's posted. You can modify the agenda. If there is something urgent that we need to address, we can do it. And then as we crawl closer to the meeting, if it seems like, the world's gonna keep spinning without the meeting, then we can just scratch it off the calendar.
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable?
Is that okay? Good.
And then the other thing we can look at too is that we have the superintendent evaluation meeting, but if we have sort of 3 members already committed to that, so if we, wanted to expand that a little bit further, then we could think about doing that as well if we needed more time. But I would imagine town meeting's gonna be over by then. Based on what, John, you told me, I'm not sure if we're gonna wrap all of the policy changes up before the end of the year. We'll certainly give it a good college try, but,
Yeah, I think that work will continue through the summer.
yeah.
So we've, the school improvement plans, like the CP improvement plans.
Right.
And we have, the middle school, program of studies to approve.
I think what we would do then is just move the school improvement plans most likely to July, because the 13th would be superintendent evaluation and middle school program studies. Those are 2 big pieces, plus whatever else comes up.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, we'll do roll call. Bill?
Yes.
Cheryl? Aye. Sean?
Aye.
Lisa? Aye. Rich? Aye. Mike?
Yep.
And myself, aye. We're adjourned at 5:45.
Just put on the future agenda the